Hi, this is Dr. Sean M. Nicholson, and this is Kingdom Business. We have an exciting show for you on today. This is April, and April is a special month. One reason is because it's my birthday month, but another reason is that we observe many different things throughout society that bring forth awareness, and stress is very prevalent in this day and time as it relates to this global pandemic. And April is Stress Awareness Month. So we're going to be talking about stress on today, how to cope with it, good stress versus bad stress, time management. Creating boundaries in your life, different things like that. So we're excited about bringing forth that information for you on today. All right, so we're going to get right into it and hope you enjoy this episode. Listen, tell a friend, tell somebody, call your friends, your family, your loved ones, whomever. Let them know that Kingdom Business, growing ministry and business, is on. All right, we will be right back.
I'ma handle my business. I'ma be about my business. I'ma go and handle this business. For the kingdom, yeah. I'ma handle my business. I'ma be about my business. I'ma go and handle this business. For the kingdom, yeah. I'ma handle my business. With the streets hard, can I get a witness? You best be listening or you gon' miss it. You best to keep yourself in tip-top business. Bringing in men like we willing and vicious. Love to eat the word and hate to clean the dishes. Now unto him that can exceed all of your wishes. Can overcome a million of Judas's kisses. We love on the thug and pray for the misses. Feed the hungry, now that's my business. Preach to the poor, now that's my business. And tread on the snake whenever he hisses. Ain't got more punch than 1,000 visits. We got an army.
All right, we are back. We are back. Hey, my name is Sean M. Nicholson, and this is Kingdom Business, where we are growing ministry and business. Each week, we're bringing a phenomenal opportunity for you, the viewers, to tune in to see the topics that speak to your personal as well as your professional goals, as I reveal how God is the center of it all. As I always say, okay, let's go. Well, we do have a powerful show for you today. In this episode, we're going to deal with something that is common to a lot of people, and that is stress. All right, stress. Now, the exciting thing about Kingdom Business is that we keep the conversation going even when we're not streaming here. I want you to reach out to me with your questions, your comments, your concerns, because I'm listening online at KBiz World on Twitter or on Facebook at Kingdom Business 7. You can also email me at contact@kingdombusiness.world. Now, we're going to talk about stress. Now, this is a subject that a lot of people are talking about, they're paying more attention to, especially dealing with this global pandemic that we're in. Businesses are becoming stressful because of lack of clients, lack of resources. Things are just different. You know, you got this thing called the new normal, if you will. Churches, ministries, they're experiencing stressful times because going back and forth from virtual and in person, and whether people are coming or not coming, there's just a lot of changes and things that are going on. So we want to just provide a few tips that I feel will be beneficial for you um, in business as well as in your ministries. And we want to pay attention to those things. Okay. Well, one thing I want to do to kind of set um, the scene, if you will, is understand that stress in and of itself can be very hard to deal with, hard to cope with. Stress really can diminish your brain functioning, and it turns up or shows up in so many different subtle ways. And that's very important to understand, because if we don't realize the impact that stress can have on our lives, we could um, not pay attention to it as closely as we would probably need to. It has been said that doctors for years have warned us that prolonged stress can hurt the bodies, and it causes high blood pressure and stomach problems. Even neurosciences learn more about our brains as they discover how the stress can diminish these brain functionalities, right? And that basically shows up in places that we don't really need them to show up in, if that makes sense. So there's a couple of things that we can take a quick stress test. All right, you ready? Let's go. Are we gonna take? We're gonna take a quick stress test. All right. Now, this is rhetorical, if you will. Just think about it. I seem a bit more forgetful. I seem a bit more forgetful. Does this apply to you? You see, prolonged stress actually diminishes our memory because it can shrink what they call a key memory center called hippocampus. And that's important for us to understand because sometimes we may forget things. Have you ever? I'll just use me for example. Sometimes I'm running around and I got my glasses on my hand. I was like, "Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses?" I'm looking all around and the glasses are right on my head. Right. Some of you may forget your keys, where you put it. Some of you may have left the house and got to the car and realized that, oh man, I forgot something. So you run back into the house and to find the thing that you forgot, and then you forget what it was that you went to the house to find. Right? I seem a bit more forgetful. Number two, I don't feel as motivated as I usually do. A key brain chemical called a neurotransmitter transmitter called neophren helps us stay alert and even focus in the right amounts. See, our body is so powerful and the brain is so amazing that it has balances and it has degrees, if you will, of um, uh, amounts that take place, and they have to equal out to be the same thing in order for, or equal out rather, in order for us to function properly in our lives. So sometimes when they're off, you may not feel as motivated to do things as you used to. However, prolonged stress, it decreases that, which can lessen our motivation. You may have felt like exercising, and getting up in the morning exercising, but now you're a little sluggish. You don't get up as frequently as you used to. You may have been motivated to start your day, but now it seems like when you got up at 7 o'clock, now that turns into 8 o'clock or it turns into 8:30, whatever the case may be. But you're not as motivated as you usually have been. Okay. Number three, things I once enjoyed seem less enjoyable now. Whew. Now, the near transmitter that we talked about, it activates our pleasure centers so that things such as finishing a task or eating actually feels good. Uh, when stress is present, it dampens this important chemical that we possess, which can result in less pleasure from what we normally will enjoy. Isn't that interesting? Things I once enjoyed seem less enjoyable now. All right, the last one, number four. I feel more blue or more blah than I usually do. Again, another neo transmitter is at play. And here, this is the part that I believe is called serotonin, and it regulates your moods. As you might expect, stress dampens its availability in the brain, and most depression medicines aim to regulate these serotonins in the brain. So now, what does all this mean? Well, prolonged stress clearly impacts our brain, which negatively, keyword negatively, affects our daily lives. It behooves you and I, right, to wisely manage it in the future, as we move forward, rather, we should practice identifying these stressors, if you will, these trigger points, so that we can understand how to cope with. Now, there are many different indicators that come up, and you have to identify what is your triggers as far as stress is related, and then figure out a way to effectively deal with it. Now, um, as we talk about stress, we talk about the change of environment. We talk about the change of the world as we once knew it, if you will. All the different things, numbers are going back up again with the COVID-19, and the more variants are coming visible, and people that didn't have COVID before now um, getting the COVID virus, and all of these things are happening. That's stress in and of itself. You're having to go and maybe shut down your office because someone tested positive, or you once were attending church regularly, and now that stops because someone has also had the COVID virus, and all of these different things. So you see that can create stress in each one of our lives. Now, I believe this personally, that our mind is equipped to think positively as well as negatively. And unfortunately, when things like this happen, it migrates, if you will, to the negative. And when it migrates to the negative, that begins to create stressors as well. We began to feel anxious. We began to uh, be fearful, perhaps. And, that causes these chemical imbalances, if you will, in our lives, in our minds, that definitely is not beneficial for us. All right. So we got to learn how to cope. Now, one thing I want to talk about is time management. All right. Time management is very, very important, whether you're in business, whether you're working a 9 to 5, whether you're in ministry. Time management is very, very important. Now, one thing that I just want to give a couple tips. There's I guess you call it a matrix that I've used, and it's based on Eisenhower's matrix. And what this does, it really kind of gives me a clear understanding of what things are important and what things are not important. Now, there's a sheet that I use for this matrix, and it's broken up into 4 quadrants, if you will, 4 sections. Now, it's color coded because I believe in identifying things through color, because things become more visible for me that way. And the way that I have this and to use this is that there's a do first. Okay. So this is daily things. So things that I do first. Then it's things that I schedule to do. Then there's things that I delegate to do. And then lastly, there are things that I just don't do. So when we look at this, it's very important to have time management. And my day goes into these 4 quadrants, if you will. So there are many things that I have to do day to day. So what I have to do now is prioritize those things. And how I do that is by using this matrix. What are the things that I do first? I list them down. What are the things that I schedule? Because although they are important, they may not need to be done right now. So I have to schedule these things. If I schedule these things, now I am very intentional of working my day up to that point that I need to do the thing that I schedule. Does that make sense? Then there's a thing called delegation. So all the things that I have to do in the day, whether I'm doing it first, whether I'm scheduling to do, or things that are important for me to do, but I don't necessarily have to do it. So I can delegate it to an assistant or operations manager or whatever the case may be, so that they can actually do what it is on my list, which frees me up to do other things. And then lastly, I list down the things that basically I don't even need to do, not today anyway. All right. So now let me break it down again. Things that I do first. These are the things that are urgent and important. That's all me. I have to take care of those things, right? Then there's things that I can schedule. Those look like things that are less urgent, but still important. Less urgent, still important. They can schedule. Well, what does that mean? It can wait, okay, until the right time for you to do it. Then the delegation part. Now, this is, I know, difficult for a lot of us, but I promise you, if you practice this, it will change your life. These are the things that are urgent, but less important. So they can kind of go down the list a little bit, and you don't have to worry about having your hands on it, but you can delegate it to someone and then have them report back to you those findings or whatever it is that you have. And then lastly, things that I'm just not going to do. Those are the things that are neither urgent nor important. They're not urgent and they're not important. So that means that I don't have to deal with that right now. All right. Listen, I promise you, if you get this in your system, if you will, it's going to change your life. All right. All right. Don't forget, we're listening to you online, and I want you to reach out to me with your questions, your comments, your concerns by emailing me at contact@kingdombusiness.world. I can always hit you back with an answer on our next episode, but you got to keep watching. Got to stay engaged so that we can keep the conversation going. All right. We're going to take a quick break. And pay some bills, as I like to say, but you don't want to miss what we have coming up on the next side. Remember, we're talking about stress. This April is Stress Awareness Month, and it's very important for us to be able to cope with these things, monitor these things so that we can be okay. All right. Work-life balance. That's what it's all about. Okay. We'll be right back. All right, all right. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Sean M. Nicholson, and this is Kingdom Business, where we're growing ministry and business. This is April. And as I mentioned before, it is my birthday month, but it's also a month that we acknowledge and make folks aware of stress. Wow, stress. Stress can damage a person's life tremendously if we don't take care and pay attention to it. A couple of things that I wanted to talk about on the second half as we deal with stress is understanding that there's good stress and there's bad stress, right? For instance, now I don't do this now. I think age may have a little bit to do with it. Maybe, I don't know, but I won't say that. But I used to love roller coasters, right? And we would go on the roller coasters and find the fastest one or the biggest one. And those are the things that we love to do. Now, for me, it was a good stress because the adrenaline was high and the anticipation was there. And as that roller coaster goes up the hill, and I know that the drop is just going to be massive and it's going to give this feeling, and I'm just excited about it. That's a good stress. but the people behind me are frantic and they're paranoid and they're whimpering and they're like say oh no, and there's a different type of stress because anxiety is present and fear is there and they ain't happy about this at all and they're wondering why in the world did I commit to doing something like this. That's negative stress or bad stress. So as April, um, being the National Stress Awareness Month, there are some tips that we want to share with you to help to prevent and even manage stress in your life. Okay. They're very simple and you may have heard of it. You probably even do it. Okay. And there's what's referred to as the big three. Okay. Now, the reason that we talk about these things is because we understand that eating healthy is very important in managing and preventing stress. Exercising is very important in managing and preventing stress, as well as getting enough sleep is very important as it relates to managing and preventing stress. So we want to practice living a happy, a healthy life, that there's no impact on us as it relates to stress. Now, here's the thing: things are going to happen. Um, Pages are going to turn. Crisis is going to occur. Tragedy is going to make itself present, right? But how do we cope with these things is what's important. We want to make sure that we take care of ourselves. We should practice on living rather than just existing. So here are a few tips. Learn how to relax. Whew, that's a big one there. We got to learn how to relax. Relaxing while stress is not easy. I promise you, it's not easy. It is important to find out what works best for you and what fits your lifestyle. What my way of relaxing may not be yours. I'm a carpenter by trade, and I like building things. I like doing things, and a lot of times that's therapeutic for me because I'm moving. There's motion, there's thinking, there's critical thinking, there's navigating through stuff. There's fixing issues or whatever the case may be, and that's relaxing for me. Golf is relaxing. My dad used to like shooting pool. That was relaxing to him, and whatever it works for you in your lifestyle. Now, of course, that is easier said than done sometimes, but we got to be able to stick with it. So here's something that I would suggest: deep breathing, meditation. All right. That can be done wherever you are. Just take a breath, focus, block out the world, distraction. Think about positive things. Thinking out how it's good for you to even be breathing, how it's good for you to even be able to function in life. Thinking about possibly your children or your grandchildren. I get excited every time my daughter sends me a picture of our grandson. That just does something to me because that's a life. And to see his smile and how happy he is, that causes me to relax and look at things differently. You see how that works? Just take time to breathe. Learn how to relax. All right. Next thing, put your feelings down on paper. I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying how they're stressed out and things. And I said, well, do you journal? They would say, no, not really. I said, get your book, begin to write down how you feel. Try writing those things out. Get the thoughts out of your mind. You heard the phrase, get out your head. That's what we got to do. And the best way to get out your head is to write these things down. Put your feelings on paper. My favorite thing is to be proactive. Listen, Newton's law said for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Very powerful. You're either going to be proactive or you're going to be reactive. My suggestion is for you to practice to be proactive. You are your own best advocate. If you're feeling overloaded and worn down, take a look at everything that's going on in your life and see if there's some things that can really take a back seat. Remember the matrix that I talked about? Things that you do, Now, things that you schedule, things that you delegate, and things that you don't even take a look at, right? Be proactive, not reactive. Talk about your problems. Now, sometimes talking through a problem is all you need to do to work through it, right? A stressful situation, confiding in a trusted friend or a family member or even a therapist. Nothing's wrong with that. Licensed professional can also give you helpful tools on how to positively process through stressful scenarios. You got to find a way to talk about your problems. Do something that you enjoy. Always, you may have always wanted to take a cooking class. Do that. You may want to create a herbal garden. I don't know. You may want to learn to speak Spanish or something, right? Do something that you enjoy. That's an outlet. It creates an outlet and it provides a way to relieve stress. Don't be intimidated by the idea of picking up or learning something new. It's very easy. Or just take your phone. Maybe you want to play a few minutes of solitaire. You remember there was a craze about Words with Friends. I don't even know if that's still out now, but that was very peaceful and relaxing for the most part. And people really enjoyed to do that. The last one is very important. And I know it's COVID, and I know that we're having to wear our masks in public locations or public places, if you will. But this one is very, very powerful. It is just very simple. And what that is smile. Smile. It might seem silly, but simply smiling can help improve your mood. Laughing is always great, or always a great way to beat stress. It's clinically proven, right? And it's also important towards good health. Take some time for a laugh break. All right, a laugh break. Watch a funny show, a sitcom, right? If you want to laugh, I mean, I'm not going to endorse any shows, but find a sitcom and just watch it and laugh, or a funny movie that you may be interested in, and enjoy that time. Okay, I'll run it down again. Work from backwards. Smile. Do something that you enjoy. Talk about your problems. Be proactive. Put your feelings on paper and learn how to relax. Woo! I hope this is helping someone on today, because it's very important, and we want you to be okay. We want you to be around for a long time. All right, we want you to be along for a long time. Now I'm gonna share this last couple points with you, and that's our time for today. But learning how to cope with stress, or with stress, is really just finding a healthy way to deal with situations and things that go along in your life. And when we do that, we understand that all of us are going to eventually experience stress, but how we handle it is going to be very important for each one of us. Now, common reactions to stressful situation can include disbelief, it can include shock, it can include numbness, possibly feeling sad, frustrated, helpless, difficulty in concentrating and making decisions, perhaps back pains, headaches, stomach problems, smoking, use of alcohol and or drugs, affecting more than just your mind. These are things to look out for. Now, there's many places that are able to help people that are feeling stress. And if you reach out to us, we'll be more than happy to share some of that information with you. All right. My name is Sean M. Nicholson, and this has been Kingdom Business, where we're growing ministry and business. Don't forget, you can keep the conversation going at Kingdom Business 7. I'll see you here every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time, right here on the Power Network. That's the Power Network.tv. So until the next time, remember, passion is the ability to pass on. We will see you next week. Take care.
Let's go.